So, I have a question for all of you. Is Warhammer 40K about to change forever? You've probably heard this a few times already on different channels and whatnot, but I'm here to just throw my hat in the ring and probably talk about what else we could probably see coming in Warhammer in the near future. That's what this video is really all about, is to talk about, is there going to be like some major changes coming to this, coming to this universe in the near future? It's something that I have been thinking about, especially with the announcement of this new upcoming novel coming next year. And that novel being the end of the Dawn of Fire series, The Silent King, where we're going to have Guilliman go head-to-head with the Silent King, and it's also going to tie in some other elements that's been going on for the Dawn of Fire series for a while. So basically what this is we're going to talk about, like, is the future of Warhammer going to change irrevocably? And on one hand, I'm like, no, they're not gonna like change the lore that big. Like, I think, unless it's like for a story arc or something, they're not gonna change it in a book. But there has been a lot of talk with everything, Fulgrim coming back. We've had rumors of Russ and Alfarius also returning in the near future. We have a lot of stuff that is going to be coming in the near future that really makes you go, yeah, that could actually happen. Like, this could legit happen in the near future, where we see, these massive changes, and it could start here. There's a lot to go on, and I think there is some stuff to talk about. Now, initially, I don't think that's the case, where I think, no, we're probably not going to get any major changes outside of, like, maybe, again, Fulgrim and the Emperor's Children getting that massive update coming soon. But the other thing that you really have to take into account is that this could actually still change something else entirely. Like, there is still, like, another thing that is going to probably happen in the near future that could, that does kind of give credence that, well, maybe, they might take a chance. Like, maybe there's a possibility that they could take a shot in the dark about doing something that could make a major change to the universe. So let's get into it. So obviously, with the upcoming volume, The Silent King, we're going to see Guilliman and the Silent King face off. Now, a couple things is that the Silent King is the leader of the Necron people, but the Necrons as a whole have really not been, shall we say, really united as a whole. In fact, the Silent King has been having a civil war against Emotech. And could Emotech play a big role in here? I think it's a possibility that Emotech could actually make a big role in here. In fact, I think, and this, I'm going to put some some tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff, is that I think with this novel, they're going to propel Emotech into something else. They're going to propel him into the next level. I think, my theory is that Guilliman is going to kill the Silent King for good, and Emotech will be the new leader of the Necrons. I think, again, I don't think that would be, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think that's what they may build on, is that Guilliman kills the Silent King in combat, and Emotech now takes over. Because I think, they've really wanted to build up Emotech for the longest time. So what better way than to have his biggest rival get taken out? Would I prefer it to be Emotech to land the killing blow? Yes, and I think that could actually happen. But hey, we gotta circle jerk those Primarch fanboys. What can you do? But yeah, and also Guilliman really hasn't outside of his initial return, Guilliman and beating Mortarion, and even then, he got help from his dad, possessing his body in the end of defeating Mortarion. So Guilliman really hasn't had a major victory that you can really call his own. So to defeat the Silent King would probably be, even like Lion got, bashing Angron's face in when he came back. Yes, Angron didn't really die, he just returned to the Immaterium. So, but still, Lion got the W, so I think they want to do the same thing for Guilliman by having him kill arguably the biggest Necron character out there. Again, could he kill him? Is he going to kill him? I'm not saying that, but it does feel like that could be the case, and then they can build up Emotech, who they've been really like just kind of haven't really done a lot with. So maybe this is how they do it, is that, you know, the Silent King and Emotech's little civil war spat has come to an end, and now they can ascend Emotech into playing a bigger role on the tabletop as well. And they can have him reunite with Orican, from Orican the Chronomancer as well. So it could be the rebuild of the Sawtech dynasty. The other thing that looks like it's going to play a bigger role is Vashtorr. Now, a while back, I did a video talking about Vashtorr the Archifane and his possibility of ascending to full Chaos Godhood. I think that's still in play. Like, I really do think that is something that is going to come into play in the near future. I do thoroughly believe that we will see Vashtorr become a full Chaos God. And this could be the start of it. Like, it was really hinted throughout Arcs of Omen that and the Games Workshop said that Vashtorr wasn't going to be going away after this arc. He's going to play a bigger role. And they already just ascended the Great Horn Rat to during this whole new Skaven arc in Age of Sigmar. So they're probably playing tit for tat. If, again, none of this is confirmed, but this is what I'm thinking they're going for, is that, well, now that we have a 5th Chaos God in our fantasy setting, let's give a 5th Chaos God to our 40K setting. So that way we can have a Chaos God that can actually, because he's a Chaos God of technology, you can have a Chaos God for not only the Dark Mechanicus, but also you could have him play around with the Necrons now. You could have a Chaos God that could actually be a threat to the Necrons. Because they don't really, like, the Immaterium doesn't really have that same effect on them, so maybe that could be the change when you bring in Vashtorr as a 5th Chaos God. Again, that's just my tinfoil hat theory right now. The other thing, could in this novel and this story arc going forward, could Lion and Rabute finally, like, meet each other again? That's been a plot line that has been hanging by a thread, like an open-ended thread, for so long. Like, I think it's finally time, now that you've hinted at, you know, Fulgrim making, you know, you've basically said this whole time, yeah, Fulgrim is coming back, and we're updating the Emperor's Children, and we're going to do something big. Now that you've updated also, for all the tabletop guys out there, aren't you glad that they finally updated the Eldar? Like, after how long, right? Like, now we find there's new Eldar models Eldari models out there for you all to play with. I'm happy for you. But, yeah. So we're going to have that big update with the Emperor's Children, with Fulgrim returning. It could be another thing that a lot of people have teased, like maybe they're talking about, you know, Slaanesh, you know, there's more going to be stuff with Slaanesh in the future. There's just so much that we don't know, and it does look like Games Workshop is actually, you know, feels like it's building to something, whereas for so long it's just been moving at a snail's pace when it comes to storyline. That's what I think one of the things like the Old World and Age of Sigmar kind of had over Warhammer as a whole, is that in Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, those story arcs really do move. Like, there is, like, moving along. Like, there's actually, like, progression and faster. Whereas 40K, it always feels like, and keep in mind, I love 40K. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it really does feel like everything just moves, it just crawls along slower than, you know, both fantasy settings. That's just how I see it, honestly, where it really does feel like there's just very little progression. But maybe that's changing in 2025. Maybe Games Workshop is finally like, hey, maybe we can actually, you know, capitalize on our shit and actually, like, move the story along. And maybe this is how they do it with, you know, and it would probably shock a lot of people to see the Silent King if he actually gets killed. I mean, I wouldn't like it, and I'd prefer it to be killed by Emotech, because that just feels like more in story. But then again, we had no resolution between Yarrick and Gazgathol, and had him killed off screen by Yarrick killed off screen by Angron. So fuck it, whatever. We got to make those Primarchs look good to sell those Blue Man Group figures, but you know, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that's just that's again. All of this could be bullshit. This is just a theory I had. This is just a theory, a gamer theory. No, I hate that. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's just my personal like thought process. Is that could it be that we in this new upcoming storyline we see the death of the Silent King and Rabute gets his own W because he hasn't really gotten his own W since the Horus Heresy. And since Rabute's come back in the new, since Guilliman has come back in the 40K timeline, he really hasn't gotten a major W that you can really call his own. Outside of a few battles here and there, he hasn't really gotten the W. And you could say, oh, but what about Mortarion? He beat Mortarion. Yeah, he beat Mortarion after getting his shit rocked. And then his father came and possessed his body and fought him back, then burned Nurgle's garden. That was an assist. I do give him that, but that was assisted. Maybe if he actually does go through and slay the Silent King, that can be his own W, but who knows. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of all this? Do you think it'll, we'll see the death of the Silent King? Do you think it'll be Rabute or Emotech who kills him if that is the case? And do you think they'll make Vashtorr the new 5th Chaos God? Like, I bring this up. Just comment below, let me know. I know this is a lot, but hey, we'll see what happens in the near future. But other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.